Our lesson for today is all about rational inequalities. In solving rational inequalities, we need to find the zeros of the numerator of the rational expressions and the real zeros of its denominator. And they are critical values of inequality. Then we need to use the test values to determine which of intervals formed by the three critical values and to be included in the solution set. To avoid arithmetic solution, we can use the sign diagram to show each of factors. First, we need to draw a number line first, this one. And then, we can point each factors. If x negative 2 is equal to 0, then if x positive 3 is equal to 0, and if x negative 4 is equal to 0. Then in negative part, it is the negative infinity, and the positive part is the positive infinity. And then we can put all the factors here, which is x negative 4 from the numerator, and then x positive 3, and then x negative 2. And then each of these we can solve its factor if x negative 2 is equal to 0, if x positive 3 is equal to 0, and x negative 4 is equal to 0. Then we can point here, we have positive 4 is 0, so it is positive 4, and if x positive 3 is 0, it is negative 3. And if x negative 2, it is positive 2. And we know at the upper part we have RS, which is the resulting sign. So we can solve its sign of each factor. So in the first interval, which is the value of x, let's see, negative 4. So negative 4 minus 2 is negative. Then negative 5 minus 2 is negative. Then negative 6 plus negative 2 is negative. And this one, since negative 4 is the largest value, so we can use the negative sign, and negative 5 and negative 6. And then this one, negative 4 and negative 4 is negative, 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 because negative plus negative is negative. And then this one, negative 2 is negative, negative 1 plus negative 1, all is negative here. And positive 1, negative 2, negative. And this one, x plus 3, since the larger value is positive, it is all positive, since all number here is smaller than positive 3, so we can use positive. And then this one, x negative 4, it becomes negative, since negative 4 is the larger value of this number. And then let's see here, we have the value of x is positive 3, so we have positive, and positive 3 plus positive 3, it is positive. And then positive 3 plus negative 4 is negative. Interval, so we have positive plus negative, it is positive, since positive 5 is the larger value, and 5 plus 3 is positive, 5 minus 4 is positive. And this one also is positive, 6 minus 2 positive, 6 plus 3 is positive, 6 negative 4 is positive. And then in resulting time, first we need to write the interval notation here. So we identify in these sections, we have the resulting sign. So we have negative times negative is positive, divide divided by negative, it is negative. So all here is negative. Since negative times negative is positive, divided by negative is negative. Why we need to divide? Because this is x negative 2 times x positive 3 over x negative 4. It means that division. And then this one, negative times positive is negative, divided by negative, it is positive. And this one is positive times positive is positive, divided by negative is negative. Positive times positive is positive. And then we can identify here the interval in these sections. We have corresponding section here, so we can identify its corresponds numbers. So we have negative infinity and negative 3. And then this negative 3, this section, and positive 2. And then in this section, we have 2 and 4. And then in these sections, we have 4 and positive infinity. So we have 4 interval. But since in the equation, it is in these sections, we have negative or equal to 0. So it means that negative is not greater than 0, or it is not equal to 0. And positive is equal or greater than 0. So in interval notation, the solution set, since they have 2 positive, it means that 2 answer. So negative 3 and 2 in the sections, negative 3 and 2 is the solution set, including negative 3 and 2, union of 4 and positive infinity. Look, the sign, it is an open interval, and 4 and positive 8 is the 4 and 8 is the open interval, and negative 3 and 2, it is closed interval, since it is including negative 3 and 2. And this is the answer. Let's have an example number 2. We have 3x positive 4 over x positive 1 less than or equal to 2. First, we need to find the least common denominator, which is x positive 1. And then we divide each side by the least common denominator. So x positive 1 divide x positive 1 is 1. So we have 1 times 3x positive 4. We multiply from the numerator. And then this one also, since the reciprocal of 2 over 2 is 1/2 is 2 over 1. So we have x positive 1 divide 1 is x positive 1. Then we multiply 2. And then this one is 3x positive 4. And then 2 times x plus 2 times 1 is 2 over x positive 1. And then we transpose each side, this one. We equate to 0. Then we copy the least common denominator and we combine together. We inverse, we have negative 2x, then negative 2. So we have less than or equal to 0. And then 3x negative 2, it is x positive 2. Since 4 minus 2 is 2. So the answer is x positive 2 over x positive 3. In interval notation, we can draw a number line here, and then we can use the sign diagram here. Since x positive 2 is equal to 0, which is negative 2. So we need to show its factor first. So we have x positive 2 here is x positive 1 and x positive 2. And then the resulting sign. If x positive 2 is equal to 0, then x is equal to negative 2. So we can draw here. And then if x positive 1 is equal to 0, it is negative 1. So it is closer. And then we have three interval notation. We have negative infinity here in these sections, and 2, negative 2. So we have the value of x is negative 3, positive 2. It is negative since the larger value is negative, so all is negative. And then in these sections, we can pick the number in between negative 2 and negative 1. So it is negative 2 and negative 1.5. So 1.5 plus 2 is positive, and this one is negative. Since negative 1 plus positive 1 is negative. And then we have 1, all here is positive. If the value of x here is positive, so all here is positive since it is positive. And then in resulting time, we have to we have to divide. So we have negative divided by negative is positive. Positive divided by negative is negative, and positive divided by positive is positive. And then we can show the interval notation here. So we have negative infinity. Since negative part is it belongs to the negative infinity, and we have negative 2 and negative 1, and we have negative 1 to positive infinity. So we have three interval, and it is in the given is less than or equal to 0. Since this section is less than or equal to 2, so in interval notations we have negative sign. Since negative sign is the less than or equal to 2, so in interval notation in this section, negative 2 and negative 1 is the solution set. So we can put here in interval notation the solution set as negative 2 and negative 1. It is closed interval. We can use closed interval since negative 2 and negative 1 is including the solution. When you simplify this one, so negative 2 and negative 1 is the solution set. So this is the answer. And then let's have an example number 3. We have 3x positive 1 over x negative 2 greater than or equal to 4. So we have 3x positive 1 over x negative 2. And then we can transpose positive 4. So it becomes negative 4 greater than or equal to 0. And then our LCD is x negative 2. Since x negative 2 divided by x negative 2 is 1, so we have 3x positive 1 times 1, and then x negative 2 divide 1, so we have negative 4 multiplied by x negative 2, since x negative 2 divide 1 is x negative 2, so we multiply by 4. Then we simplify, we have 3x. We have 3x positive 1. We copy first 3x positive 1. Then negative 4 times x is negative 4. Then negative 4 times negative 2 is positive 8, equal to or greater than 0. And then first we need to collect like terms. So negative 4x plus 3x is equal to negative x. Then 1 plus 8 is 9 over x negative 2, which is equal to 0. So if x is negative 9, so we can solve here up. So if x is negative 8 positive 9 is equal to 0, we subtract a side by negative 9, so cancel out this. Then negative x is equal to negative 9. Since negative x is cannot be, so we need to multiply each side by negative 1. So negative 1 times negative x, it is positive x. And then negative 9 times negative 1 is positive 9. Therefore, our value of x is positive 9. And then if x negative 2 is equal to 0, then it becomes positive 2. And then we can draw the number line here. So we have on this side, we need to count first 9, so it is easy for us to locate where is the value of x. So we can see 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, negative 1, and negative 2. So in this interval notation, in the sign is negative infinity. We need to put first each factor. So we have negative x positive 9 here, and then x negative 2. So when we have the value of here is x is positive 9, so we can locate here. This is 0. If negative x positive 9 is equal to 0, then it is positive 9. And then if x negative 2 is 0, then it is positive 2. This is the resulting sign. Let's say we compute first, so we have to simplify. If the value of x is 1, so we have negative 1 plus 9, it is positive. And 1 minus 2 is negative. This is positive. 0, negative 2 is negative. Negative 1, it is positive. Negative 2, positive 9, it is positive. And negative 2 is negative. And then in the interval 2 and 9, we have positive. So all here is positive, since the larger value is positive, so it is positive, and here is positive. Guess all here is all positive, since positive number are greater than the negative 2, and here also. So we have 6, minus 2 is positive, 7 minus 9, this is all positive, and then 8, negative 8, positive 9 is positive, and this is positive. And the interval 9 to positive infinity, we have positive, we have negative 10. Since negative 10 is greater than 9, so the larger value is 10, so we have to use negative and this equation too. And then let's locate the interval notation. So we have these sections, we have negative infinity and positive 2, this is 9, and then this section is 2 and 9, and then in this section we have 9 to positive infinity. Then we have the resulting sign. Since positive divided by negative is negative, so all here is negative in this interval. And then in interval 2 and 9, since positive divided by positive is positive. And then in this interval, negative divided by positive is negative. In the equation, it is finding the value which is greater than or equal to 4. Since positive is equal to 4 or greater than 4, so we have in interval notation the solution set is we have 2 since 2 is less than 4, so we need to have an open interval, and 9 is closed interval. Since 9 is greater than or equal to 4, so it is including the solution set, so it makes the solution. So this is the answer. Now let's go to number 4. So we have 3x positive 2 close and open parenthesis, and 2x negative 5 close and open parenthesis. So we have over x less than 0. So we need to solve each factor first. So then we need to solve each factor. So we have 3x positive 2 is equal to 0. Then we subtract each side by negative 2. Then 3x is equal to negative 2. And then we divide each side by positive 3. So the value of x is negative 2/3. And then in the second factor, we have 2x negative 5 is equal to 0. Then we subtract a side by positive 5. And then cancel out. We have 2x positive 5. And then we divide each side by 2. So x is equal to 5 over 2. And then in the denominator, which is x, since x have no other value, so it is 0. And then we can use the sign diagram here. So we have this interval is negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, and negative 5. Since negative part is the negative infinity, and the positive part belongs to the positive infinity. And then since the value of x is here we can put the factor first. We have 3x positive 2 and 2x negative 5 and the denominator, which is negative. And if 3x positive 2 is equal to 0, then it is negative 2/3, so it locates here. Then 2x negative 5 is 0, then it is located here in this section. And then x is equal to 0. This one. And then we can pick in between the number negative 1 and 0 in this interval, since I also showed the solution set including the denominator, which is the value of x is equal to 0. But this one, since negative 1, so we have substitute. So we have negative 2 times negative 1 plus negative 5 is negative, and this sign also is negative. And then this one, negative 3, so we have negative, and this one is negative. This one all is negative, since the value of x here is greater than positive, so we have all negative here. Negative 3 and negative 4 times 3, negative 12 plus 2, which is negative. Negative is greater than, this one also is negative. And then 3x positive 2, it is negative. And this one also is negative and negative. In this section, we can pick the number here so that we get the value of x. So we have 3 times negative, which is negative. So we have 2x negative, it is negative. Negative also here. And it is negative. And in this value, 3 times 1 plus 2, it is positive. Here is positive. 2x, 2 times 1 is 2, negative. This is positive. And then if the value of x is 2, so we have 6 plus 2, it is positive. 4 minus 5, it is negative. And then positive. And in this area, in this section, so we have this one is negative, since 2 times 3 is 6 minus 5, so it is positive. Then this positive 2 times 8 negative 5, all here is positive, since the value of x here is greater than negative, so all here is positive. So we can see it here. Then 6, this is 18, so it is positive, positive, and positive. And then we have the resulting sign in here. Since negative in this section, so we can solve each interval. So here is negative infinity and positive infinity. In this section, and then this one. So in this section, we can relocate this. So we have in this area, in this section, we have negative infinity and negative 2/3. And in this area, we have negative 2/3 and 0. So we have 4 interval. And then in this interval, we have 0 and 5 over 2 in this section. So we have 5 over 2. The last one is 5 over 2 and positive infinity. So let's have a resulting sign. So we have negative times negative is positive, divided by negative is negative. So all here is negative in this area. And then we have negative, also it is negative. The result is negative. So positive times negative is negative, divided by positive, it is negative. And positive times positive is positive, divided by positive, it is positive. Since positive is greater than 0, so in this interval notation, the solution set is here we have 5 over 2 positive infinity. We can use the, and this is the answer. Then let's go to number 5. We have x squared negative 3x negative 4 over x positive 1 greater than or equal to 0. Then we need to find the factor first from the numerator. So we have x negative 4 and x positive 1, since negative 4 times x is negative 4x. Then x times 1 is x, so negative 4x minus positive 3x is negative 3x. So we have this one. And then we use the zeros product by the zeros property of multiplication. So we have x. If x negative 4 is equal to 0, then it is positive 4. And this one is x positive 1 is equal to 0, then it is negative 1. Draw the number line here, and then we can use the sign diagram. So we locate its numbers. So we have x negative 1, 2, this belongs to negative infinity, and the positive sign, it belongs to the positive infinity. And then if x negative 4 is equal to 0, then the value of x is positive 4. First, we need to put the factor here. So we locate its corresponding number. So we have, if x positive 1 is equal to 0, then it is, the x is negative 1. And also here is negative 1 in the second equation. So it is, can also put here, and this one. And then if x negative 4 is equal to 0, then x, it becomes positive 4. So we can put here. So we have to substitute the value of x here when we pick the numbers from negative 2 to negative 4. So it is this one. So we have negative 2 plus negative 4 is negative. So negative 2 plus 1 is negative. Then it is negative also. Negative 3 plus negative, all here is negative since it is greater value or the largest value. And then we have 0, positive, and 1 minus, it is negative. because 4 is the largest value, so we have negative sign, and then this one is positive since positive plus positive is positive, and also positive here. All here is positive. And then 2 minus 4, it is negative since the larger value is negative. And then this one positive, also here is positive. And then this one is negative, here is positive, this one is positive. And 5 minus 4, since the value of 5 is greater than 4, so we have positive sign. And then in this resulting sign, we need to put here. So we have in interval here, we have in this section, we have interval negative and this one. So we have 3 intervals. So we have negative infinity and negative 1, and the negative 1 and 4, then 4 and positive infinity. So we have 3 intervals. And then in this resulting sign, so we have negative times negative is positive divided by negative is negative. Negative times positive is negative, divide by positive, so it is negative, and this one is positive. Since in this equation is finding the greatest or equal to 0, and positive is greater or equal to 0, then in interval notation, the solution set is is 4. We need to use the closed interval because 4 is including the solution set, because 4 is greater than or equal to 0, and this is the answer, 4 and positive infinity.